Hello and welcome back to Molif Media School channel. I am Ife Aronokafo, of course, and I'm joined by my mentor and father. He is the immediate past Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Anambra State, Mr. Sidon Adenova. It's so good to have you. Okay, Millie Hiala.
Thank you very much, Ife Bani.
Okay, I read something about you recently. I'm going to read it out. And at different points, I would like for us to talk about the things I said to be sure that I captured your person correctly. Okay, I said, if you're conversant with the Nigerian media industry, you'll definitely recognize these two media bosses. Ruben Abati is on our TV screens every day, and that's for Arise TV fans. Mr. Sidon Adenova was the voice and face of the Anambra State government for the better part of the Obiano administration. Now, you two, Ruben and Sidon, I hope somebody doesn't have my head for this. You have a lot in common. First, you're both based in Lagos, am I right?
And very good friends.
Interesting, I never knew. Okay, and secondly, I said they're of the same generation, about the same age even. And I said probably friends. I didn't even know that.
I'm 3 years older than Ruben. Yes.
Interesting.
Very good friend of mine. Yes.
Oh my, and I said, they are both leaders of thought in the Nigerian media space. The logical insights and intelligent deductions they make isn't regular. They've had the best of two worlds, top public service positions and high-profile media practice and consultancy. Okay, Millie, if I get it wrong anywhere, please call me back.
Well, you can still call me Sidon, not just okay with it, but go ahead.
Okay. However, I recently discovered a world of difference between these two media gurus. Recall that recently, young Arise TV correspondent Mary Chinda addressed Ruben Abati by his first name. She said, Ruben, and Ruben said, are you at my naming ceremony? And people could tell that he wasn't happy about that. And then he ended up by saying, all these mannerless young people. Now, my thoughts, as expressed in my article, is if Sidon were to be in that same studio and Mary addressed him as Sidon severally, guess what Sidon would have said? He would say, oh, that's my name. I like hearing the sound of my name. And that's what he would have said right there. I know that because I have actually, he called me to come back from Plus TV Africa to work with the Anambra State government. I remember the day I got that call, and then I had to negotiate with my commissioner. And he's remained my father ever since. So when I resumed work as an SSA to the governor on broadcasting, working directly with Sidon, I wouldn't say under Sidon because if I say that he will stop me. I'm trying for him not to stop me. I would usually address him as sir, and he would say, call me Sidon, that's my name. If you address him as sir 10 times over, he would correct you 10 times over. So you better not, so that you don't get corrections all the time. He would also give you a lecture on what he calls the obsession for titles among Nigerians. And that's where both men are starkly different. So I asked a question. I said, are you pro Dr. Ruben or pro Sidon? And a lot of people reacted. Some said I'm pro Sidon. And then I said, for me, that people call me Auntie Fee. I don't know if they leave the auntie out of it. I don't know how I'd feel, but then, okay, Millie, that's what I wrote.
Yeah, by the way, he called me your father in the profession.
That's right.
Very flattering. They want to say your colleague.
Interesting.
Oh, yes.
Because why do you think I should move away from the father thing?
Well, I guess it strikes at the heart of our discussion, which I think we shall zero in a moment.
Okay.
Basically, it has to do with the kind of culture in which we live and work. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yes, my colleague, Sidon, that's more like it.
Okay.
Yes. We operate a culture that operates on what we call high power distance index, PDI, which means that the gap between the person with power and authority or even age or wealth or fame and the person without any of this is so much And people see it as something that's normal, regular, not something that we have to fight.
Okay.
So you are not expected to call somebody 4 or 5 years older than you by his or first name.
Yes.
That's the kind of person which we live. Or to call your boss, the managing director, or your supervisor manager, by his or first name. But experience has shown that kind of cultural value actually impedes rapid organizational development and the growth of national economy.
Wow.
I will explain by giving you an example. In 1998, Korean air was falling freely from the skies.
Wow.
So many crashes. What was the reason? The reason was not technical. The planes were basically brand new and well maintained at the best hangars in the world. Yet, almost every month there will be a crash, to the extent that Canada banned Air Korea from its passing through its airspace. The American government has a lot of over 20,000 troops in the Korean Peninsula, banned its troops from flying Air Korea from 1998-99. But something happened. A consulting firm was hired from the US to determine the cause. It was discovered the cause was not technical, but cultural.
Really?
Cultural. What sense? In what sense? You see, a plane, a jet plane, a wide-body aircraft is designed to have a captain, co-pilot, flight officer, engineer, and so on and so forth. When anything goes wrong, any of these persons can take charge.
Yes.
But in Korean society, which is high on power distance index, it's not possible. In fact, captains were slapping co-pilots if they committed a minor error, and it's seen as normal, what we regard as being high-handed.
Okay.
So it was discovered that sometimes the pilots will be very weak. They will not even sleep appropriately. They will fly. They will commit serious errors, and the co-pilot dare not challenge them. Consequently, there were a lot of crashes.
Oh.
So the members of the technical crews were retrained. One of the first things they were told was, everybody must be addressed by the first name the way Americans behave.
Oh.
Nothing like sir, nothing like Oga.
Oh.
They changed only cultural changes. From 2000 to this day, not one single air crash. Today, it's one of the most profitable airlines. So the changes had to do with the behavior of the people, nothing to do with the technical integrity of the planes, nothing to do with the technical abilities of the pilots and its technical crew members.
Wow.
So it shows the importance of understanding the place of cultural differences in the growth of organizations and even enabling societies and organizations to make rapid progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Minnie. What do we then do as young presenters when we're confronted with superiors? Okay, I don't want to say colleagues.
Yeah.
Colleagues who want to have us address them as superiors, adding titles, that it suits their ego that way. How do we begin to? Do we have to teach them this? Literally?
My answer is yes, and I will give you two reasons. One, in broadcasting, even in Nigeria, when you're on air, you call everybody by the first name. When John Momo, chairman of channels, was presenting news on channels a couple of years ago, his subordinates will say, John, call him by the first name. It's standard practice in broadcasting everywhere, including Nigeria. The second example I would like to give you is Vanguard newspapers. In Vanguard, it is one paper that was begun with very limited resources by Sam Amuka, but they hadn't lost their staff to the other newspapers, even when the pay was not great. Why? Sam related to them as a friend, as a brother, not as a boss. So everybody would call Uncle Sam.
Oh.
Nobody called him Chief. If he was coming, you were eating, but they were up to now, they eat every day in the same cafeteria called Canal. He will buy you food. He's not bossy. There was a time, actually, I must confess, I tried to put someone to work in a newspaper called The Republic. Nobody came from Vanguard, but they came from bigger newspapers.
Wow.
One of the persons who wanted to join me failed on the day of interview. I called him. Why? Austin, what's his name? Told me, sit down, I will tell you the truth. I wouldn't like to hurt Uncle Sam, such a nice person.
My.
Okay? That's the second example. The third example is from The Guardian. The Guardian was at his best when Alex Ibru was the chairman and publisher, and everybody referred to Alex Ibru by his first name.
Wow.
He was not a threatening person. Alex would enter your office. He would not sit down unless you asked him to sit down.
Wow.
Here was a great millionaire. Here was your publisher. Here was your chairman. The managing director, Stanley McCabe, was called by the first name. Stanley, by even people at the gates, cleaners, sweepers, Stanley. And the Guardian was great. Today, Alex Ibru is gone. You don't call the MD by the first name anymore. Stanley is gone. You don't call the chairman by the first name. Can you compare the Guardian of today of Guardian of 20 years ago?
No way.
For me, these three examples give us food for thought.
Okay, so what's the to do for persons who regulate the profession? Yeah, like the NBC, media trainers in the universities, even trainers who are not necessarily in the academia. You know, what are the things? What are the talking action points?
Well, mass communication is an integral part of social science research. These are the topical issues, the study of cultural values worldwide, which unfortunately, in my humble opinion, is not properly taught in Nigerian university. These issues are not addressed. When they are addressed, you recognize that our society is hierarchical, traditional, and gerontocratic. And these cultural practices impede rapid progress. We should not be encouraging this because in the name of preserving our cultural heritage.
Lastly, does this start with addressing my lecturers by their first names? Is this
In
where
Europe,
it starts?
In America, the answer is yes. Your lecturer, your manager should be your friend, your colleague, not your boss. When somebody gets close to you, the person confides in you, and the person, you actually become more enthusiastic to learn, to improve, and that is the way to go. If someone is not close to you, you're not likely to learn so much from that person.
I just hope that students who are watching us, that when they go to practice this at, say, University of Nigeria, Nnamdi Ezekwe University, University of Lagos, that they don't get the Bianca treatment. Thank you so much, guys. My name is Ife Arono Okafo, and I've been with the former Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Anambra State, Sidon Adinoba. What are the things you would like to tell people who have watched this, who are in the media profession and are already thinking, oh, I want to do this, I want to follow the Sidon way?
Well, it doesn't have to be the sit-down way. It's actually the modern way. I wish our curriculum in the universities could be more up-to-date and begin to question a lot of assumptions and practices in our own cultural environments.
And it starts with you.
Absolutely. So next time, don't call me your father. Call me your
My colleague. My colleague.
That's what it should
What
be.
if I add my distinguished colleague, my esteemed colleague, so that if there's something you need to give me, you will not think twice if you give me immediately.
I know people like Sidon are in a terrible minority, but this is the way of the future.
That's right.
Actually, the whole world is moving towards egalitarianism. The most prosperous societies in the world, most of them you find Denmark, Sweden,
Norway, Finland,
are actually the most egalitarian. The UK is more egalitarian than we are, and that's what good things Rudo is doing. He's becoming more and more egalitarian. Simplicity and humility are the way to go. The gap between the governor and the people he leads should be decreasing regularly.
Okay.
That's one good thing Rudo is doing, and we must support him.
All right, and take a cue from that.
Yes.
Okay, do remember that there's a bell just beneath. Please click on that to subscribe to this channel.